Baseball has defined our nation for generations. Yet, sadly, its recent demise has left it in the shadows of football and basketball for the title of the true national pastime. In this series, I hope to inform those who may not enjoy the game as much as I do and entertain those who do. I'll tell you what you can do. Take me out to the ball game. In the first episode, we will focus on the basics of the game, such as the playing field and the positions, as well as some basic rules. If I never get back, let me root for the home team. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game.
Well, it's a fine night for a ball game. Still plenty of seats available here at Ebbets Field for this series opener, which welcomes the Dodgers back home after a long road trip. They went to the West and had the trip broken by a 3-day stand here against the Giants, and went back into Pennsylvania for a 9-game series. So it'll be the Dodgers and the Cubs as the Western invasion begins for the second time this year.
Here is an image of Fenway Park, one of baseball's most historic and beloved fields. Like all baseball fields, it's divided into two main sections, the infield and the outfield. As one may assume, those who play the infield are called infielders, and those who play the outfield are called outfielders. The positions are as follows. 1. The pitcher. He is responsible for throwing the ball to the opposition. 2. The catcher. The catcher is often the leader of the infield and is responsible for catching the ball behind home plate. Both the catcher and the pitcher are regarded as infielders and can perform the same tasks as any other infielder. 3. The first baseman. He is mostly responsible for forcing the runner out at first base. 4. The second baseman. If he obtains the ball, he will typically throw it to the first baseman to perform a force out. 5. The third baseman. Due to the game consisting of mostly right-handed hitters, third base is often referred to as the hot corner. The third baseman has the same responsibility as the second baseman, throwing the runner out at first base. 6. The shortstop. Acting as a partner to the second baseman, the shortstop shares much of the same responsibilities with the second baseman and the third baseman. Collectively, these 6 positions are referred to as the infield. And the outfield. Most balls hit into the outfield are in the air, so all of the outfielders have relatively the same job: to catch the ball if they can, and to retrieve the ball if they cannot. They consist of 7, the left fielder, 8, the center fielder, and 9, the right fielder. As I mentioned, these positions are collectively known as the outfield. These numbers, 1 through 9, are assigned to each position for scoring purposes. We will get more into that later.
Let's go! Batter up! We're taking the afternoon off. It's a beautiful day for a ball game today. The fans are out to...
Baseball is one of the most complicated sports in the world, so it is hard to explain every rule without leaving 1 or 2 out. For now, we'll just cover what you must know and leave the more complex for later episodes.
We're gonna cheer and boo and raise a hullabaloo at the ball game today.
A batter records a hit when he reaches base safely after hitting a ball into fair territory. A mistake by the defense is not regarded as a hit, but rather an error. A batter can decide how many bases he wants to acquire from any given hit, but risks being thrown out by the defense if he cannot reach his intended destination in time. A base hit is referred to as a single, a 2-base hit a double, a 3-base hit a triple, and a 4-base hit a home run. A home run can be acquired either by running around all 4 bases on one hit, or by hitting the ball out of play between the 2 yellow foul poles. Runs are what determine the winner and loser of a baseball game. A run is awarded to a team when one of its players successfully completes a full trip around the bases.
Yes, Jackie hit that ball.
A home run awards a team 1 run for the player who hit it, plus an additional run for every runner on base at the time of the home run.
Yes, Jackie hit that ball.
The team with the most runs at the end of 9 innings wins the game. If the score is tied after 9 innings, the game will progress into an unlimited amount of extra innings to find a winner.
But it's a natural fact, when Jackie comes to bat, the other team is through.
Did you see Jackie Robinson hit that ball? Did he hit it? Yes!
Once a runner is on base, he can choose to advance at any time he would like, but risks being thrown out if the ball reaches the base before he does. When this is done successfully, it is referred to as a stolen base. If the runner is unsuccessful, it is referred to as a caught stealing. Another way to advance is when the catcher loses possession of the ball. If the runner advances on this, he is not rewarded with a stolen base. Instead, the pitcher is accredited with a wild pitch if it was his fault, and the catcher gets a passed ball if it was his fault.
Did you see Jackie Robinson hit that ball? Did he hit it? Yes! And that ain't all he stole home.
Outs are what keep the game moving. Each inning consists of 2 halves. The top half is when the away team bats, while the bottom half is when the home team bats. Each half inning consists of 3 outs. Once 3 outs have been made, the next half inning is played. An out can be made a number of ways. The most common is the force out. There is a force at a base when the runner must advance to the next base. For example, there is always a force out at first because the batter must always run to first. But there is only a force at home plate when there is a runner on every base or the bases are loaded because the runner at third must run home to avoid the runner at second passing him. For a force out to be made, a player simply places his foot or any other part of his body on the base while in possession of the ball. If the ball is hit to the third baseman, he typically will throw the ball to the first baseman who already has his foot on the base, therefore resulting in the runner being called out. Force outs allow for more than one player to be called out during the same play. A typical double play is possible because the runner on first must advance to second due to the runner behind him. If the ball is hit on the ground to the left side, the second baseman will cover his base, while the shortstop will field the ball and throw it to the second baseman, forcing one runner out. The second baseman throws to first, forcing out the initial runner. This kind of double play is referred to as a 6-4-3 because of the position numbers I mentioned earlier. If the ball is fielded by the second baseman and thrown to the shortstop covering, it is referred to as a 4-6-3 double play. Triple plays are also possible, yet they are very rare.
We want you on our side.
When a defensive player catches the ball before it touches the ground, the offensive player who hit the ball is considered out. Any runner on base must be touching the base when the ball is caught, or else he is susceptible to being thrown out by force. If a ball is caught and a runner is thrown out, it is considered a double play as well. Every runner is eligible to be tagged out if they are not on base. Most often, tags will happen when the defensive player is too far away from the base to enact a force out, or there is no force on the base in the first place. A runner is out when he is touched either with the ball itself, or, most commonly, a glove with the ball in it. A hitter's count is the number of balls and strikes that he has on him in a particular plate appearance. A strike is a pitch that the batter swings at and misses, or the umpire deems within the batter's hittable zone, or the strike zone. 4 balls result in a base on balls, or a walk, while 3 strikes result in the batter being called out.